I feel like you're trustworthy. I feel like you're safe. Feelings lie. Feelings lie. I feel like I could share my whole life with this person and not be judged. I feel like I can be vulnerable. Feelings lie. The brain actually judges if someone is trustworthy within 33 milliseconds. And remember, trust has two parts. So it's kind of like two sides of a coin. You have the perception of, which is how do I get the door open? And then you have the being, which is how do I stay in that room? But people who are master manipulators, they have really mastered that perception. So if they ask a request very quickly, if they're able to master that perception of trustworthiness, they don't really need to focus on being trustworthy because the door's open, they do what they need to do, and then they get out.
All right, so with that perception in the 33 milliseconds, what is happening? What are you picking up on? And how do we get it so wrong?
Yep, so firstly, it's nonverbals. Because if you think about it, 33 milliseconds, you had a conversation. And the second someone walks in the room, we judge them. And it's called neuroception. So neuroception is just a fancy word for saying basically the nervous system is constantly scanning the environment. Constantly. This is how we've evolved. And everything we scan, we then say, okay, is it safe or is it unsafe? Because that's the basics of survival is it safe, is it unsafe? And it's really that simple. So the brain is doing this constantly with everything. So it's picking up on everything, every sight, every sound, every smell, every little movement that you make. Is this window open or closed? You know, what's the size of the room? Absolutely everything. So if you think about all of this, think about what the brain's going to try and do. It's going to try and simplify everything because it can't deal with everything coming in at once. So it simplifies it, takes all this in and goes, is it safe? Is it unsafe? So I'm sure you've walked into a room and gone, something's not right. Don't know why, but something isn't right. Let me get out of here. Mm-hmm. Or let me stay and investigate if you have absolutely no sense. But you also have that feeling sometimes you meet someone and you're like, I don't like them and I don't know why. And when I speak to investigators, I'll get the feedback they came into the room and I felt like they had something to hide. I felt like they were dangerous. We've also had the opposite where we meet someone and we just feel, what a wonderful person. I don't know why, but they just feel so safe. And think about what it's doing. It's taking all of this information and sending you a signal. So it's saying to your nervous system, go into fight or flight mode right now. That's that gut feeling of, I'm not safe. Or it's activating the parasympathetic nervous system. It's making you feel calm and saying it's safe. And what all of this means is we're not aware of what our nervous system is doing all the time, but it translates into a feeling. So if somebody knows how to project feelings of safety and trustworthiness, they make you feel safe. And that's often what master manipulators are really, really good at. How do you recognize if maybe your feeling of trust is artificial? So the main thing is when you feel that feeling of trust, it's about the education of recognizing that these feelings are just feelings. That's it. I feel like you're trustworthy. I feel like you're safe. Feelings lie. Feelings lie. I feel like I could share my whole life with this person and not be judged. I feel like I can be vulnerable. Feelings lie. Mm-hmm. So everything is about consistency over time because you can have 3 interactions with someone. Oh, they're so great. They're so wonderful. When we're faking a persona, say I'm appearing very organized and I want to get a role, there's a big job that I really want. And you're deciding, okay, is this the right person? I appear very organized. I appear very structured. I appear, very conversational. Over time, it's very difficult to hold up a perception. It is really hard to maintain a false persona. The only judge of if someone is actually trustworthy is consistency of behavior over time. And this is the problem with relationships because there is this tendency when you meet someone you really, really like, there's a tendency to try and lock it down very quickly. And I don't want to lose them. So you commit very early on, and once you commit to something, we have this desire to be consistent, this self-consistency. So I've made this decision, I need to stick by it. And once you commit to a person, if you do it too early, they can hold up that false persona a month, 2 months, maybe 3. And by that point, you are so emotionally invested. Once you're emotionally invested, and maybe you're financially invested, then it becomes very, very difficult to walk away once that consistency starts to show that actually there is no consistency. This is false. What they were promising is not accurate. And they often sell dreams and things like that. But because you rushed into that, I feel like they're trustworthy, and you make that commitment, well, now you're stuck, or now you feel stuck.